My wife turned 35 the night I watched my own marriage fall apart from across our living room. By the time the bartender from her past started talking about motel rooms, I already knew something was wrong. I just didn't know how bold the truth was going to be. My name is Mark Walker. I'm a project manager, which means I'm paid to see problems before they hit the schedule. I should have recognized this one earlier. It's a Saturday night in our quiet Texas suburb. Olivia's 35th birthday. Our living room looks like a lifestyle blog. Fairy lights across the curtain rod. Candles that smell like autumn orchard. Charcuterie boards laid out on the coffee table like we're auditioning for some food magazine. I rearranged the cheese platter for the third time, not because it needs it, but because my hands don't know what else to do. Lily darts past me in socked feet, glitter headbands slipping to one side. Daddy, can I go upstairs when everyone gets here? It's gonna be loud. Yeah, kiddo. Say hi. Then you can escape. She smiles, like that's all she needed from me, and I feel a pinch in my chest I can't name. Guests arrive in waves. Neighbors. Olivia's co-workers. Her brother Eric, backyard grill master, human small talk machine, starts holding court near the kitchen island. My mom, Carol, sits in the armchair nearest the hallway, watching everything with the quiet focus of someone who's seen more than she says. Olivia floats around the room in a new silk blouse, pale blue, the kind you buy to look effortlessly put together. She laughs in all the right places, touches arms lightly, and makes sure everyone has a drink. From across the room, she looks like the woman I promised to grow old with. Then Ryan Cooper walks in. She called him an old college friend, and the guy who's bartending my staff parties now. He shows up in a black button-down, sleeves rolled just enough to look casual, not enough to look sloppy. He's got that bartender confidence, the kind that comes from watching drunk people tell on themselves for a living. Ryan. Olivia's voice lifts half an octave. Subtle, but I catch it. I always catch a tone. It's my job. They hug a beat too long. Her fingers stay on his forearm as she pulls away, just for a second. My mom's eyes narrow. She doesn't say anything, but I can feel her watching them like you'd watch a lit candle near curtains. Mark, this is Ryan, Olivia says, finally bringing him my way. Ryan, this is my husband. I wipe my hand on my jeans before I shake his. My palms suddenly sweaty. Good to finally meet you, man, he says. His grip is firm, but his eyes barely touch mine before going back to my wife. You want a beer? Ask. Yeah, sure. Whatever you've got. Turns out what I've got is one beer. One that he will nurse all night like it's a prop, not a drink. As the party stretches on, I notice patterns. I always notice patterns. Olivia's eyes find his shirt when he laughs. Not his face. His shirt. The way it fits. The way it moves. Ryan drifts from group to group but always orbits back to her, like he's got a string tied around his waist. Eric keeps the conversation running, throwing out stories, jokes, trying to fill any silence that might let the wrong thing escape. At some point, Lily tugs my sleeve. Daddy, can I go up now? It's too loud. Ask. She nods. Go ahead. Brush your teeth later. Yeah. She grins and disappears up the stairs. Her retreat a little too eager for a kid at her mom's birthday. I stand by the kitchen island, beer in hand, watching my life like it's a show I've seen before but can't remember the ending to. Ryan leans against the doorway, his one beer barely touched. His cheeks are flushed. Maybe from alcohol. Maybe from ego. He starts with the light stuff. Man, your wife was wild back in college, he says to the group. You wouldn't believe the stories. Olivia laughs too quickly. Okay, Ryan, that's enough of a memory lane. Everyone chuckles. My mom doesn't. She just studies their faces. Ryan takes another tiny sip, then smirks. Nah, I mean, we had some good times. Real good. He drags out real just enough to turn it into something else. Ryan. Olivia's voice drops a half step. There's a warning in it. I've heard that tone used on Lily, never on him. Eric jumps in. So, Cowboys this season, but Ryan's found his stage. And the thing about drunk men with secrets is they love an audience more than they love survival. Hey, I'm just saying, he continues, looking at me now. Old friends, right? We've been catching up. Isn't that right, Liv? My jaw tightens. I keep my sip small. My beer's almost empty, and I realize I don't remember drinking it. Ryan. Shut up. Olivia hisses under her breath, but not low enough. What? He laughs, spreading his arms. We've been catching up. Isn't that what she told you? Motel on 5th Street's Great 4, catching up. The room stills. Somebody coughs. Someone else pretends to check their phone. Eric's smile dies on his face. 5th Street. There are nicer places in town. She's always said that one was gross when we pass it. My mother shifts in her chair. I can feel her looking at me now, not them. Olivia's skin drains of color. You're drunk, Ryan, she snaps. You don't know what you're saying. He laughs louder, ugly now. Drunk? This is my first beer, birthday girl. I remember everything. Trust me. He adds, letting his voice slip into something greasy. You're still amazing in bed. The word lands like a dropped plate. Silence. Actual silence. The music still plays softly from the Bluetooth speaker. People still breathe, but all I hear is one sound. The ticking of the grandfather clock in the hallway. Steady. Unbothered. Like time doesn't care that my life just split in two. My vision tunnels. The room collapses to a narrow frame. Ryan's smirk, Olivia's frozen smile, my mother's clenched jaw, Eric staring at the floor. The beer bottle in my hand feels slick, unreal, like it belongs to someone else. I don't throw it. I don't shout. I don't say a word. I just stand there, listening to that clock count out the seconds between the man I was at 7:13 p.m. and the man I'm going to have to be after this. The last guest leaves at 9:47 p.m. I know the time because I'm staring at the green numbers on the microwave like they're hooked up to my chest. 9:4. The door closes. -7. Click. Thank you guys for coming, I'd said. Again and again on autopilot. I shook hands. I hugged people. I even laughed at Eric's last bad joke on the way out. I played the part of the husband who saw a drunk idiot run his mouth and would laugh about it later. Inside, everything is rubble. The second the door locks, the house changes temperature. Same lights, same fairy tale decor, but the air feels heavier, thicker, like we're underwater. Olivia starts stacking plates too fast, clinking them together. God, I'm so sorry about Ryan, she says, voice too bright. You know how he gets when he's drunk. He's pathetic. I lean against the counter. My hands are steady. That surprises me. He had one beer, I say. She doesn't look at me. She runs water, grabs a sponge that doesn't need grabbing. You saw him, Mark. He was already drinking before he got here. You know how bartenders are, always half-lit. He's jealous, that's all. He hates seeing people settle down. He wants to shock everyone. I let her run. Let her fill the space with words. Why 5th Street? Ask. She pauses. Just a hitch. Barely there. What? Motel on 5th Street. I keep my voice level. Why that one? He didn't just say motel. He said the one on 5th. The sleaziest place in town. The one you call gross every time we drive by. She laughs, sharp and fake. Because he's an ass, Mark. He knows it'll get a reaction. That's the point. He's trying to stir drama. God. Can you imagine if people actually believed him? People will, I say. Some already do. She spins then, finally facing me, eyes wide with offended innocence. She's good. I almost admire the performance. You don't, do you? You know me better than that. I study her face. The way her lips press together in just the right amount of hurt. The way her hands clutch the dish towel like a prop. She's not scrambling. She's practiced. Why does he think you've been catching up with him? Ask. Why does he feel comfortable saying that in my house? Because he's drunk and he's stupid. She snaps. We text sometimes. Okay? He went through a breakup. I've been trying to help him. I invited him to my party, and he took advantage. That's what he does. You should be mad at him, not me. I don't move. Why does he know about a motel room? She rolls her eyes. Oh my God, Mark. He doesn't. He made it up. Guys say crap like that all the time. You're being paranoid. Look at me, I say. She hesitates, then forces herself to hold my gaze. There's a small tremor in her jaw she probably thinks I can't see. Are you sleeping with him? Ask. My voice doesn't rise. Yes or no? She doesn't even blink. No, she says, smooth as glass. Of course not. I would never do that to you. To Lily. This is insane. It lands like a line she underlined in her head days ago. Not shocked. Not offended. Ready. Something in me goes quiet. I reach for a fresh beer from the fridge, crack it open, set it on the counter. I don't drink it. I just watch the foam settle. I need air, I say. Mark, come on. Don't storm out over something Ryan said. We can talk about this. We are talking, I tell her. You answered. I heard you. She steps toward me, hand half raised like she wants to touch my arm, then thinks better of it. I love you, she says. You know that, right? I don't answer. I walk past her, through the living room still smelling like candles and cheap wine, past the fairy lights, past the spot where my marriage went public domain in front of our friends. Outside, the night is cool and quiet. No shouting, no broken dishes, no scene. I stand in the driveway, hands in my pockets, and realize I'm not sure what hit me harder. Ryan's drunken mouth, or how easily my wife lied to my face without even needing to think. I walk, past the neat lawns, past the glow of other people's living rooms, past the same mailbox I've driven by 1,000 times and never really seen. My hands are in my pockets, my jaw is tight, and I'm replaying Olivia's Of Course Not on a loop. I ended up at my mother's house at 11 p.m. She opens the door in her robe, eyes already knowing more than I've said. Hey, Ma, I say. She steps aside. Do you want coffee or just silence? Silence is fine. I sat at her kitchen table for 2 hours. I don't give her the full story, just pieces. Ryan said some things. She lied and didn't blink. She doesn't push. She just puts a mug in front of me and lets me breathe. On the drive home, something settles in my chest. Not peace, not rage, just a decision. I stop arguing. Next morning, I start documenting. The first call is to a private investigator. Guy named Harris, recommended by a coworker who used him in his divorce. I don't give him a sob story. I give him dates, names, patterns. Sunset Motel on 5th. I say, watch it. Her, him, plate numbers. I want stills, timestamps, everything. Got it, he says. No judgment, just business. Second move, I log into our phone account. Her line's under my name. I request a detailed record, then talk to a guy in IT at work about hypothetical phone backup options for a family member. He walks me through software like he's discussing a project, not my life. Thanks, I told him. You're a lifesaver. If he hears the edge in my voice, he doesn't mention it. For the next 3 weeks, I will live a double life. On the outside, husband. I make dinner. I help Lily with homework. I sit on the couch while Olivia complains about extra HR projects and late-night meetings and a friend who can't get his resume right. On the inside, accountant of betrayal. I track dates in a spreadsheet. I match her working late texts to camera stills Harris sends me. Grainy shots of Olivia and Ryan walking into the same room at the Sunset Motel. Same door, different nights. Hand on his arm in one, head on his shoulder in another. In my cloned view of her messages, I read conversations that sound nothing like helping a friend. Can't stop thinking about the last time. You make me feel alive again. He has no idea. He does now. The worst part isn't the confirmation. It's sitting across from her at dinner, passing the salt, listening to her ask Lily about spelling tests, while I know exactly which door she's been walking through after late meetings. She thinks we're in a cold spell. She has no idea I've stopped fighting with my feelings and started building a case. By the time gossip hits your house, it's already made 2 laps around town. Olivia leaves Monday morning in her work heels and warrior shoulders, clutching her travel mug like a shield. She kisses Lily on the head, glances at me, then looks past me. I'm going in early, she says. We need to do damage control after Ryan's little performance. Good luck, I answered. She hears support. I mean something else. On my phone, before I've even finished my coffee, two things arrive. First, an email from Harris. Folder attached. More stills. Same motel. Same door. Different days. Second, a new anonymous email. No subject line. No text. Just screenshots. Her messages cropped and highlighted, the kind people send when they want you to know they know. Can't wait to feel you again. Last night was worth the risk. A few drinks and he'll buy anything I say. It's not news to me. I've already seen worse in the raw feed from her cloned phone. But this is different. This means the circle is widening. Someone else has receipts, and they're not on her side. By midweek, I start hearing echoes. A coworker stops by my cube at lunch. Heard your wife's birthday was wild, he says, trying to sound casual. Everything good? Fine, I say. People talk. The neighbor, Sarah, catches me at the mailbox. We missed the party, she says, but I heard things got weird. Her eyes search my face for cracks. People drank too much, I told her. That's all. Night, my mom calls. She doesn't bother with small talk. Mark, this town moves fast when it smells blood, she says. You need to decide what you're doing. For you. For Lily. On Friday, I ask her if Lily can stay the weekend. Just a change of scenery, I say. I'll be there at 5, she answers. No questions. No hesitation. That afternoon, while I'm pretending to work, my phone buzzes again. Facebook notification. Olivia's new post. Some people can't handle their alcohol and love to stir up drama. I'm grateful for the real friends who know the truth and stand by me. I read it 3 times. Not because I doubt her lie, because of how fast she reached for the spotlight. In the comments, mixed between the usual hearts and "You're so strong" from her crowd. There it is, your husband deserves better. No name, just a profile I don't recognize. But they're right. For the first time, it hits me. This isn't just my marriage anymore. It's a story she's trying to spin in public while the evidence quietly piles up in my inbox. And the room, the town, the circle, the people watching, slowly starts to drift to my side without me saying a word. The first time Lily asks, it's simple. Dad, why are you sleeping in the other room? She's brushing her teeth, foam at the corners of her mouth, looking at me in the mirror like I'm a crooked picture she wants to straighten. Your mom snores, I say. She spits, rinses, frowns. She always snored. Kids clock patterns better than adults. They just use smaller words. Over the next week, her questions get sharper. Why is mom mad all the time? Why did Emma's mom cancel my sleepover? Did I do something wrong? Every time, I feel something twist in my chest. Not because I don't know what to say, but because I do and I can't say it yet. You didn't do anything wrong, I tell her. That part, at least, is pure truth. I start moving pieces quietly. More weekends with grandma. More movie nights at Carol's and sleepovers at Nana's that look like fun on the surface and evacuation orders underneath. I stay steady, calm, the way you do when you're guiding someone through a burning building and you don't want them to see the flames. Friday afternoon, my mother shows up with her spare key. I'm at work when it happens, but I've heard the story enough times to see it clearly. She lets herself in. Olivia's in the kitchen, phone on the counter, half into a conversation that probably has Ryan's name somewhere behind the lock screen. Hi, Olivia, my mom says, coat still on. Oh, Olivia answers, surprised. Carol, what are you? I'm taking Lily for the weekend, my mom says. No question mark at the end. Mark asked. She's already packed. We're going to make cookies and watch movies. Lily comes skidding in, backpack on, face bright. Grandma, can we make the chocolate chip ones with the big chips? You bet, baby, my mom says, smoothing her hair. Olivia steps between them, hand on the counter. Actually, that's not going to work. We have plans. As a family. My mother looks at her for a long moment. Not angry, not impressed, just finished. You've had 10 years of plans, she says. Now my son has one. According to her, the room goes very still. You've watched him shrink. My mom continues, voice steady. Trying to keep you happy. I'm done watching. Lily's coming with me for the weekend. You can be mad at me if you need someone to aim at. Lily looks between them, eyes wide. She hears the weight even if she doesn't understand the words. Go wait in the car, sweetheart. My mom says gently. I'll be right there. Later, when my mother tells me all this, she adds one more thing, almost as an afterthought. I never liked her, she says quietly. Not for you. But you loved her, so I kept my mouth shut. That's on me. Hearing your own mother say she's watched you shrink. That lodges somewhere deep. Not as an insult, as a diagnosis. By the time I get home that night, the house is quiet. Lily's gone with Grandma. Her room's half mess, half shrine. Stuffed animals lined up on the bed, school art on the walls. Night light still plugged in. I stood in the doorway for a long minute. Down the hall, Olivia's door is shut. No argument, no scene. Just distance measured in drywall and secrets. I walk back to the kitchen, look around at the fairy lights that are still up from the party, the leftover decorations, the ghost of that first crack in our life. Lily is safe for the weekend, and I'm standing in an empty house, realizing I'm about to blow it all up on purpose, because the only thing worse than ending this marriage is teaching my daughter how to live inside a lie. By the time you're counting lies, you stop hoping for the truth. You just wait for the one that ties the bow on the whole mess. I'd already met with a lawyer, David Parker. Late afternoon, his office smelled like old books and quiet endings. Here's the plan, he said, sliding a legal pad toward me. You don't confront until you're ready to act. You document. You stay calm. You let her talk herself into a corner. I can calm, I told him. Good, he said, because the judge will like that more than rage. So I went home, played my role, and waited. The alert comes on a Tuesday. I'm at my desk eating a stale protein bar, half listening to a conference call. My phone buzzes with a notification from our shared credit card. Murphy's Bar and Grill, $42.17. Murphy's, not far from Fifth. I know who pours drinks there. It's 3:38 p.m. I stare at the screen for a beat, then hit a call. She answers on the second ring, cheerful like we're still us. Hey babe, what's up? Not much, I say. Where are you? Left work early, she says. I'm at the mall. Macy's. I thought I'd see if they had any deals. I look at the charge again. Murphy's, not Macy's. Yeah. Ask. Which one? She laughs lightly. What do you mean, which one? Macy's is Macy's, Mark. You said you're at Macy's. I repeat. What section? There's the smallest pause. Barely a heartbeat. Women's. I'm looking at the tops. Why? I let the silence sit between us for a second too long. Then I dropped it. Because our card just pinged from Murphy's Bar and Grill, I say. And there's nothing here from Macy's. Dead air. Cars in the background. Muffled music. The sound of her breathing tightens. Ryan had a bad day, she stammered finally. He wanted to talk. I just stopped for a minute. I was going to Macy's after. You're overreacting. There it is. Present tense. Still lying. Still choosing him and the story over me and the truth. No need, I say calmly. I understand perfectly. Mark. I end the call. Then I forward the alert to David, slide my phone back into my pocket, and feel something inside me click into place. This isn't about catching her anymore. It's about finishing. We pick a Wednesday. Lily's with my mom. The house is quiet in that way it only gets when there's no kid, no TV, no excuse not to hear yourself think. David Parker sits at the dining room table in a gray suit, hands folded, manila folder in front of him. Same table where we unwrapped her birthday presents 3 weeks ago. Same wood. Different ceremonies. I straighten the stack one more time. Petition for divorce, temporary custody request, PI report, phone logs, screenshots, timeline. My name at the top. Her name is below it. At 6:12 p.m., the front door opens. Mark, I grab takeout. She stops in the doorway when she sees David. Her eyes land on the folder with her full name printed on the tab. "What is this?" she asks. I stand. "Olivia, this is David Parker. He's my attorney." Her laugh comes out too high. "Your attorney? For what? A drunk bartender?" "For a divorce," I say. "Sit down." She doesn't move at first. Then her legs decide before her pride does, and she pulls out a chair across from me. She keeps her purse on her shoulder like armor. David's voice is calm, almost gentle. "Mrs. Walker, Mark has retained me. He has also already filed. What we're doing now is explaining what he's asking for." He opens the folder, lays out the papers one by one like evidence in a project review. First, the motel footage. Black and white stills, dates, times. Then, the phone records matched those dates. Then, her own words, printed from the cloned backup. Highlighted lines about falling in love again. And "he'd never leave me, he's too weak." I read those out loud. My throat tightens, but the words come anyway. She goes white, then red. "This is illegal," she snaps. "You can't spy on me. You can't." "Your phone is on his plan," David says smoothly. "He is the account holder. The monitoring is legal. The PI is licensed. The motel is unfortunate." He taps the last document. "And then there's the prenuptial agreement. You signed it before marriage. Independent counsel was offered. You declined." She blinks. I didn't read all of that." "I know," I say. "I did." I take a breath. "I'm asking for a divorce," I repeat. "Primary custody of Lily. You'll have visitation under conditions the court decides. I'm also asking for a restraining order to keep Ryan away from her and from this house." "This is insane," she whispers. "You're overreacting. We can fix this. We can go to counseling." "We're past that," I say. "No heat, just a fact. You made your choices. I'm making mine." She looks between us, waiting for someone to blink. Nobody does. "By Friday," I add, "I want you out of the house. David will coordinate details for anything else." Her mouth opens, then shuts. The fighter in her wants a scene. The part of her that reads social cues sees the stack of paper, the lawyer, the timeline, the way I'm not asking questions anymore. Only statements. For the first time in a long time, I'm not trying to save anything. I'm closing it. 3 weeks later, it's all fluorescent lights and cold wood. I sit at the petitioner's table in my best suit. Tie straight, shoes shined, folder lined up with the edge of the desk. David beside me, calm. Flipping through paperwork like this is just another Wednesday. Maybe for him it is. For me, it's execution day for a marriage, not a person. Olivia's across the room. Yellow dress that doesn't fit the season. Hair too carefully done. Sitting next to a court-appointed attorney who looks like she sprinted here from 3 other disasters. He leans in and whispers a lot. She nods, stunned, still trying to figure out where the script flipped. The judge runs through the file. Extramarital relationship. Impact on the minor child. Evidence submitted by petitioner. Every time he says evidence, it's another cut. Motel photos, texts, credit card charges, witness statements from the party. It's everything I've seen already. But hearing it read out loud in a room with flags and seals and a woman typing every word makes it feel final in a way my anger never did. At one point, her attorney clears his throat. "Your Honor, my client is prepared to accept the proposed settlement. We acknowledge the overwhelming nature of the evidence." Overwhelming. That's what lawyers say for "you're not just guilty, you're sloppy." The judge looks at me. "Mr. Walker, you are seeking primary custody?" "Yes, Your Honor." "And supervised visitation for Ms. Walker?" "Yes." He reviews a few more pages, then speaks like he's reading from a script he's used 100 times. "Primary physical custody of the minor child is granted to the petitioner. Respondents will have supervised visitation per the court schedule. Assets will be divided as outlined in the prenuptial agreement." Bang. Not a dramatic gavel slam, just a tap. But it lands. On paper, I win. I keep the house, most of the savings, the retirement accounts, the stability. Lily stays with me, Olivia gets 2 hours at a supervised center twice a month. The first visit feels worse than the courtroom. Neutral room, neutral toys, neutral staff with neutral smiles. Lily in jeans and a ponytail, sitting across from her mother at a small plastic table. Olivia talks too much, too bright, too careful. Lily is polite, like she's visiting a teacher outside of school. She calls my apartment Dad's place and my mother's house Grandma's, like they're permanent fixtures. She doesn't mention our old home at all. When time's up, Lily walks back to me, her small hand slipping into mine like it always has. "You okay?" Ask. "Yeah," she says. "Can we get tacos?" "Yeah, kiddo. We can get tacos." Legal victory feels nothing like winning. It feels like signing off on a controlled demolition. Necessary, clean, and still somehow like ashes in your mouth. The court lets out like a fire drill. Papers in hand, people spilling into hallways, everyone pretending this is just business. My folder says I won. My chest doesn't feel like it. I step outside into the parking lot. Bright sun, hard shadows, the kind of day that doesn't match what just happened. David shakes my hand, gives me a list of next steps, then heads to his car. For him, its case is closed. For me, it's something else. I spotted my mother first. She's leaning against my car, arms folded, watching the doors. Next to her is Lily, in a yellow dress I've never seen before, hair in a braid, clutching Grandma's hand like it's the most natural thing in the world. She sees me and her face lights up. "Dad!" she calls, already moving. Behind her, on the courthouse steps, the door opens again. Olivia steps out alone. No friends, no family, just a thin stack of her version of the same papers, and it looks like she finally realizes the story got away from her. For a second, our eyes lock, and I see flashes. Her in a cheap swimsuit on a beach in Mexico, laughing at some bad joke I made. Her crying on the bathroom floor over a positive pregnancy test, hands shaking, saying, "We're really doing this." Her in our first little rental, barefoot, paint on her cheek, talking about our forever house. Then the flashes burn out, and I'm left with the woman who chose motel doors and bar tabs and lies said without blinking. Lily reaches me and wraps her arms around my waist. "What's for dinner?" she asks, like that's the only question that matters now. I look down at her, then past her at my mother, then at Olivia, still standing near the steps, frozen between coming closer and walking away. I made the choice I should have made the minute the clock started ticking that night. I open the back door, buckle Lily in. My mom takes the passenger seat. I start the car. In the rearview mirror, I see Olivia watching us. No screaming, no scene. Just a quiet, stunned woman realizing the door she kept kicking at is shut for good. I pull out of the lot. Later, when I talk about this, to you, to any man who'll listen, I don't dress it up. Some betrayals don't end with big speeches or dramatic tears. They end in a parking lot, with a folder in your hand and your kid asking about tacos. And you finally understand that the strongest thing you can do isn't to fight for what's already dead. It's to stop arguing, stop begging, and walk toward a life where your child doesn't have to learn how to live with a lie by watching you tolerate one.
Subscribe and stay one step ahead of cheaters. And trust me, the next story makes this one look like a fairy tale.